Welcome to our 2021 DIA video series. I'm looking forward to speaking with Jonathan Burr from Saama Technologies and his take on AI and the future. Hi, Jonathan, how are you?
Hi, very good, thank you. Very good.
I'm excited to dig into this topic. Let's talk about what are the types of new categories of AI technology that are emerging to inform clinical trials of the future.
Really good question. And I think I'll start off just by explaining a little bit about the way I like to look at artificial intelligence or the process of simulating human intelligence with machines. And that is to think of a continuum of cognition. So at the lower end, you have all the things that we've been used to using that copy human actions. And we refer to these things as scripts, or more recently as robotic process automation. And at the other end of the scale, we have true intelligence, where machines can think like humans. Um, we're a long way from getting to true intelligence, but we are embracing quite advanced machine learning and deep learning, which allows us to move away from sort of simple repetitive tasks to true understanding of data. So today's use of natural language understanding allows companies to get much better and quicker insights from the data that they capture in a clinical trial, to correlate the data faster and to make decisions on that data. We actually saw the results of this come to life in Pfizer's critical COVID-19 vaccine study, where they saved about a month of data processing by using natural language understanding to clean and analyze the data prior to their emergency use submission. And overall, I see a new category of clinical technology emerging in the form of an intelligent clinical cloud, which really delivers intelligence from the data and moves away from simple, transactional systems that we've been used to working with over the past 20 or 30 years to a much more integrated and flexible data science platform.
That's excellent. Now, you talked about Pfizer's practical use of AI just now. What types of capabilities should clinical trial sponsors look for in AI analytics in the future?
That's again a fantastic question, and there are a number of related and yet separate answers to the question. And I think firstly, there's a basic yet quite powerful use of AI to add things like deep learning virtual assistants to the data collected in a clinical trial. So imagine if you were able to ask for your interim analyses results in the same way that you were to ask Alexa to turn on a kitchen light or Google to play music from Spotify. This will fundamentally change the way in which users interact with the data. And then next, if you sort of moving up that continuum of cognition that we talked about earlier, we have the move from predictive to prescriptive reporting or prescriptive analytics, where instead of just predicting results and sort of looking at trending, which is basic mathematics today, we're able to suggest answers or suggest different ways of actually doing things that might change those results. So in this example, we could imagine a computer making suggestions for improving trial enrollment. So instead of just telling the user that the enrollment curve has actually slowed down, it would use external data sources, maybe something like census data, plus deep learning, so to suggest ways of getting enrollment back on track. So perhaps by suggesting closing a site and recruiting from another patient group. So very, very different to the way that analytics is actually looked at today. And as we talked about earlier, this change in the use of AI in clinical trials is largely centered around natural language understanding, which is allowing analytics to move to a completely different level and have machines truly learn from and understand the data that is collected during a trial. And this is a game changer for clinical trials, which drives real productivity in both cost reduction as well as, truly importantly, the cycle time, so we can get drugs to patients faster.
Jonathan, what do you think the timeline is like in terms of getting us fully up to scale with the use of AI analytics?
I actually think we're there now. We've been looking at AI in research, not in development, for quite some time now, because of that repetitive task replication. And now moving into development and the technologies like natural language understanding, we're able to take advantage of that in analytics and in better understanding of clinical trial data now. So it's a case of getting pharma companies comfortable with using machines where they've typically embraced, a sort of digitization of a pretty old paper process that hasn't really changed for the past 20 or 30 years. So we're asking, dinosaurs, the pharma companies, to make some pretty big changes and trust that the machine can actually deliver the answers to the questions.
Well, thank you so much for giving us a fascinating look as to where we're going with AI analytics and how important they are to the development process. Thanks so much for being with us, Jonathan.
No, thank you very much for having me. Thanks.